Good evening, Gals and Ghouls. Welcome back to another episode of Cryptic Insight. My name is Cedric. This is my girlfriend Jessica, and today we'll be finishing the Halloween franchise finally with our review of Halloween Ends today. I think overall, just starting off with talking about this movie, it's disappointing, but also I'm so confused because this film has got a lot of quality to it. Um, there are good things in it. But we'll go into synopsis stuff later. We'll go into our positives and negatives and our ratings, and then I think I'd like to talk a little bit about this film. Just because as a Halloween fan, there was a lot of expectation, a lot of hype, lots of hype, and I think it's just one of those things where we just didn't get the movie we were expecting. And, some might say that that's our fault as fans. Sure, fine. I mean, it's up to the creators, it's up to the director and the writers, but...
I like to blame the advertising for that.
True. There's all kinds of theories and rumors about what happened, especially with advertising. It was like the advertiser knew that they're like, I don't know if people are going to want to see that in the trailers. We need people in the theater. So let's just show all of the final the final scenes. Let's just show...
The last 10 minutes of the movie.
Let's show the ending. Let's show the ending in the trailer. That's all you're going to get in marketing. Poster, Laurie and Michael back to back. We'll get there. But for now, we'll go into our positives about the film. And I want to start with Jess because she does not like this movie. I think I'll probably have a little bit more positives than she does. But
a couple shots were good. The music, of course, was good. The acting was quality.
The acting was great.
No one was like a bad actor or anything in the film, obviously. Pretty high quality actors.
Even Corey. He acted well.
He did act well for the part that he was given.
Yeah. I think that's where I struggle a little bit with my conflictions is I love everybody on those movies. I love the actors, especially Jamie Lee. I love Laurie Strode. And James Courtney is the Shape. Excellent. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your positives.
That's about it. There was one part where I was really annoyed with how Michael was portrayed. Actually, two big parts that I really had a problem with how Michael was portrayed.
We're not in the negatives yet.
Yeah, I know. But most of his acting was well done. And even one of my problems I have doesn't have to do with his acting more. Their script of what he was supposed to do. So he's the second best Shape we've ever had.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, he's the second best Michael Myers. Nick Castle is the best Michael Myers, of course. James really respected. I think we've talked about James before. He's really respected Michael Myers. We've done I do a lot of my research. Of course, I'm a big sucker for behind the scenes and documentaries. I love to know how things are made. I love movies, and I love to know how movies are made because I didn't go in that field. And so it's always just been something that's super fascinating to me. James has always respected the character. He's watched the movies. He studied Nick Castle in the 1978 film extensively. Of course, talking with Nick Castle directly on set, of course, too. And so, yeah. Any more positives or?
None that come out. None that pop out to me.
So for me, my positives then, I think I'll start with the strongest positive for me is the music. John Carpenter's score, the crazy thing about this movie, and I think what contributes a little bit to my conflictions, at least one piece of the puzzle, that's why I'm conflicted, is because I think this is the best soundtrack in this trilogy. I think it's super foreboding. I don't know what it is exactly, but when I listen to it just on Spotify or YouTube, when I'm in the shower, it's like, it hits different. I can't explain it. It's so sinister and dark and menacing. It is a very menacing Halloween soundtrack. It's different, as an obsessive Halloween fan, you're like, Cedric, it's the same darn thing, just slightly different. I'm like, That's what makes it unique, is that slight difference matters, and it changes the feel of the Halloween theme even from '78. The feel is very different here. Um, and Evil Eyes, even though that's with a scene that is like really dumb in my opinion, it's an awesome, powerful piece. Like John Carpenter, in my opinion, probably single handedly carries whatever is left of this movie with his soundtrack in a lot of ways. And again, like we were talking about, no disrespect to the actors, I think they did a really good job. It's also not their fault on what's on script. I know Jamie Lee and John were kind of heavily involved, and like I said, I love both of them to death. And as fans, we have high expectations, and so there's all kinds of things. It's just, it's a mess. This film's kind of a mess for fans, I think. But like I said, positives is the score, best score in the trilogy. And I'll say I really do like the look of Michael Myers. Another killer look. I love the mold. The aged look on the mask. It looks gross. Because Michael's been wearing it since 2018.
Living in the sewer.
And we'll get there. We'll get there. Positives.
Hey, that's why it's worn. He's in the sewer.
Right, exactly. But I love the look of Myers. We were just talking about Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's amazing in this. I like Hawkins. And I think the lighting and the cinematography, for what it's worth on a technical standpoint, really good stuff. It's a well-crafted film. On a technical standpoint, it looks good. It looks good. Gosh, I think that's all I got for positives too, so we can move into the negatives. God, yeah. I guess the biggest thing that a lot of people have talked about that I think we should start with, it would make the most sense, is Corey.
Why the fuck? Sorry.
I
just don't understand why he even needed to be a main storyline at all.
We've talked about so many different things for Corey. The fact that they never introduced him in the earlier two movies. The fact that they abandoned the whole, because I'm sure everyone who followed, or Halloween fans are obsessive, because we're very obsessive fans. We're very passionate fans of Halloween. We follow the news on this all the time. Like, we were told that it was all going to be one night. This whole trilogy was going to be one night. We were all told that. And then, of course, the pandemic happens and everything slows down and they go and rewrite it. And
they had too much time on their hands.
Jess always says they just have too much time on their hands, and they probably just were got bored and wanted to redo the story because they thought they had a better story. And I always say this was the wrong movie. This was the wrong movie to do it. I think the idea of infectious evil through whatever it is you want it to be, whether it's trauma or just straight up being an infectious evil, if you want to take it literally, as in like a zombie infection, whatever, that's a cool idea. I really do think, because Myers is evil is something that is referenced in a lot of movies as evil. In
He's
some
pure
movies,
evil.
the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Exactly.
So I don't hate that idea. I think it's actually after 13 movies, it's a fascinating thing to explore. When you're doing a trilogy and you talk about evil, you've talked about evil impacting the town, but not like this. And I think it's a good idea even for this movie to talk about, if you're going to go into the future and abandon the one night thing, which they did. Sure, people committing suicide because of the trauma, because of people finding out that their loved ones were dead and the impact it had on the town,
or them blaming other people and
right.
becoming hateful towards others.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. It was the wrong time to do it. We wanted, and again, this is a big thing for fans. This is also partially on the fans. If I'm going to be unbiased, this is partially on the fans, but also you should hear your fans and know what you set the fans up for. And then, like Jess was saying, marketing.
You did not set us up for a movie about a completely different character becoming
becoming Michael
evil,
Myers.
becoming infected with the evil. The whole marketing was about Laurie and Michael fighting each other. That was the whole marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like it was going to be this huge final battle, which is why it was confusing that they were placing it 4 years after the night of the 2018 in Kills. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm like, oh, is he gonna get imprisoned again and then escape 4 years later? I don't understand what they were gonna do with that.
Yeah, and so I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest negative was, and that's kind of outside of a little bit of like what the film is, but that's kind of the problem is we didn't expect that. We didn't want that in this movie. We wanted the final showdown. We wanted something, admittedly, compared to what we got, a bit more simplistic in its conclusion. We wanted Laurie Strode, the final girl, to have her battle with Myers and see what that played out.
Or even if the baton was being passed on to Allison.
Right.
If that's what they were setting up for.
Right, and you could have had more movies with Allison.
Exactly. It
later.
Seemed like possibly Laurie was going to get this final epic battle and either she was going to die or he was going to die or maybe they both died. That was a theory that was being passed around.
I wanted them to both die.
Or if,
cool.
if Laurie died, maybe Allison can pick up the mantle where her grandmother left off. It doesn't make sense the way that they decided to take this film.
No.
And it's like they ignored everything they set up in the previous two movies.
Well, yeah, we just did our Halloween marathon for Halloween. I always watch every single Halloween movie on the week of Halloween. And we watched Kills obviously right before Ends for our review, and we watched the extended cut, and they even cut the ending where she's walking down with the knife, and I was like, why would you cut that ending? That's just badass.
Yeah,
that
like Michael
cool.
answers the phone. She's calling her daughter, and Michael answers the phone, and all she hears is breathing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm coming for you, Michael. And she just walks down the hallway with
and
a
the
knife.
Soundtrack, John Carpenter's soundtrack, when she's walking down, was like getting you ready for the showdown.
That did not happen.
Right. And then they give us the extended cut anyways, so we can watch however we want to watch it. Again, I get it, we're fans, we're crazy, but like, I didn't want the Corey Cunningham show. Not in this movie. Not in this movie.
It could have been a spinoff.
Could have been a spinoff. Could have been a show. They're doing a TV show. They're trying to do a TV show for Halloween.
It would have
now.
been perfect. You didn't even need Michael necessarily even in it. It could just be, like they said in the beginning, how his presence, how his murdering people affected the town.
Right.
And it doesn't even need to have Michael in it.
Right. Or you introduce Corey in this movie.
Yeah.
Corey looks into his eyes, survives for whatever reason, and you continue the Michael Laurie showdown, and then in the show you show Corey after the fact. You can kill Michael and then show Corey after the fact in a show. Like, it
doesn't make sense.
It wasn't the right time
to
do it in this movie.
The way they set it up, I like the beginning. He's like going to babysit. It's very classic.
It was a good cold open.
Very classic to the original. But even before he kills the kid, my thought process was like, oh, a different angle. It's a guy babysitter instead of a girl babysitter, showing that Michael doesn't care who he kills, was my thought process.
Oh, right.
As
I remember
we're starting the movie, I'm like, oh,
Michael,
perfect.
It's Michael.
It's a guy babysitter.
Michael's in the house.
Michael's in the house.
You thought Michael.
Yeah. I thought,
nope.
Michael's going to come in and murder them.
And it's just, I don't even know, Jeremy being a little shithead.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, sure, Halloween pranks, kids are shitheads, but...
And then, like, I'm going to fucking kill you, Jeremy, as the parents open the door, and then...
Yeah, but, so, though it was a shocking cold open, and I applaud them for, going there, killing a kid, that's a taboo, that's a line that some people...
Don't like to cross.
Don't like to cross. If you look
Michael crossed it in the previous film.
Right. And if you look at the Terrifier movies, it's a big deal, kids, right now, in slasher films. So, but, so I applaud them for going there. But, yeah, it's just...
I like the way that they set up things. My brain, because I was expecting this Michael Myers movie or, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, I was expecting, like, oh, Michael's going to come in and kill the guy babysitter.
Right, we were expecting Michael Myers to be the singular killer, and we got Batman and Robin.
And Michael barely killed anyone compared to Corey. Like, he killed that one, or no, actually, if we're gonna go back, something that I thought was interesting that they tried to do in this movie was saying that Michael like gained power by killing people.
Like he was eating or restoring his strength.
Yeah, which is
like he gets weaker if he's not killing people for a long period of time.
Which blows your mind because first off, at the end of fucking Kills, he killed half of the town, so he should be like transcendent. And
right,
and then he just like disappears to the sewer after Kills for what reason? Who knows?
Oh yeah, well that's another thing too, right? Very quickly in the opening with Laurie when she's writing her book, and we get a little bit of a memoir thing.
Yeah.
They have snippets of newspaper clippings, and it shows Myers' house demolished when that was one of the biggest things in Kills was his house.
Like he was just gonna let a bunch of bulldozers just come in and destroy his house.
Right, like he wasn't like people would he would let that happen.
He killed an entire fire department.
So like he wouldn't go and just kill the construction people.
Dudes.
Like he would just let the house go. And he just killed a whole mob, so what is another mob gonna do? Die? Like
the way they set it up doesn't make any sense to the previous movie that they just did.
Yeah.
And then like it's not that he stopped killing people. There's missing posters throughout the movie.
Or at least we felt it implied that he has continued killing throughout the years.
And the old homeless person, when Corey came out, was like, no one who goes in there comes out.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, the old homeless guy is also implying that Michael has continued to kill people along with the missing posters in town. And he's supposed to be like this weak Michael Myers in the sewer having a hard time like getting by. He's still killing people, so he still should be strong. It makes no sense.
Well, then that's a good segue into just the depiction of Myers, because he comes out, he's all hobbling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Myers has never looked like that.
No, never.
Look, we pooed on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. At least Myers didn't look, I'm sorry, like a fucking pussy, okay? Like, and the cardinal sin in Halloween is you made Myers a bitch.
Literally, when
A 26-year-old's gonna wrestle him for his mask?
Well, even before that, he needed like his help to kill that like police officer.
Oh, and then when he does, he's all like,
he's like
jizzing.
That's the part where I was like, what the fuck was that?
He's having a fucking orgasm.
I'm like, why is he shaking with the first stab? And then after the first stab and he does his little shaking episode, he starts getting stronger with his stabs. Like that's what gave him power to stab some more.
And you know what? I will say that idea is really cool, but why did he look like he was orgasming? What? I don't.
And Michael's never. That's the thing also between Michael and Corey. Corey seemed to be excited by the murders. Michael has never.
If he feeds off of killing. Mm-hmm. And what?
He lasted in
an institution for 40 years. And he was just fine.
Years.
I just thought of that continuity error there.
Well, it's a continuity error from the last film, not even considering 2018.
I know, but like then you think about it, you go back to 2018 when he's just sitting in.
Yeah.
He overtakes a bus driver he hasn't killed in 40 years.
No, I think his doctor crashed the bus, but after that he like killed a bunch of people.
Well, right, that's what. Either way, he's doing his thing like nothing ever happened in 2018. So like, if he feeds off of killing, he was starving for 40 years.
No,
it was the wrong movie. It was the wrong movie.
It makes sense, and like literally, even in 2018, he like gets out. He's like a badass with the kills that he's doing. He's tearing teeth out of people's fucking jaw. You know how hard that is to do with your fucking bare hands, and then dropping them into a stall.
Yeah, like
he smashed the guy's head in against a brick wall.
Yeah. So, and then, like we were saying, and then Corey, just a 26-year-old kid.
Wrestles him to the ground.
Who was bullied by band kids. Like, I get it. You're saying anybody can be a bully, and you're right. Anybody can be an emotional bully. I think Corey could have taken those marching band kids. If he took on Myers...
He must have transcended once they looked into each other's eyes.
Well, maybe. I mean, that's at this point, sure. There's so many ways you could take this movie, but the problem is
None of them make sense.
None of it was established.
Oh my gosh. And then, like, just everything. It's just, it takes your words away because it makes absolutely no sense. Oh my goodness. And even, like,
and then
the weird relationship with him and Allison, too, is weird.
Well, that's another piece together, right? We get a romance movie with horror on the side.
But also, like, it's basically romancing like almost like an abusive sort of relationship because he doesn't treat her very nicely at the beginning.
No,
he blames her for someone yelling at him.
But we were also talking about he's like, I killed somebody, and she's just like says nothing.
Yes,
and it's just like, I'm gonna hold your hand.
Yes, I'm so happy.
She also doesn't question him in parts where you would probably be like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? He's like, did
Michael let you live?
Yeah, or did you survive Michael, or did Michael let you live? And so it's like...
And she's just like, doesn't say anything.
She's like, let's have sex now.
You're talking about the man who murdered my entire family and has traumatized my family for 40-something years. I'm horny now.
Let's have sex. I'm like, what the actual fuck, Allison?
You guys... She questions none of him.
No.
Nothing.
And she doesn't believe Lori. That's the mind-blowing part to
me.
It's like she just met this guy. She just started dating this guy. She's not listening to her grandmother at all.
And I get it. Lori's got some trauma. Lori's probably not the healthiest individual to always listen to. I think she's an expert in evil at this point. I think I would take Lori's opinion on someone's evil a little seriously.
I like how, like, Corey's like, oh, she threatened to kill me. She wants to kill me. And she just believes that over Lori.
Over her grandmother.
Yeah, your grandmother wants to kill me.
Who she adores.
No. It's all messed up. It's all sorts of messed up.
And there's just some scenes where you're just like...
Well, and then I'm like, why did all of a sudden she sees the radio tower burning down, and then Hawkins calls her and
Lori reported a suicide.
And she's like, oh, I better go back now. I guess I believe
That's
her.
code for Myers is here. What? I don't know. I don't know why she... Like, that's kind of what it seems like. That's like the first thing I would think of is, oh, that's our code word. But that was never told to us if that was the case. I'm just talking out my ass. I don't know if that was, but like it just seemed like she was like, "Oh, that's my call to action." Like,
yeah.
What?
Well, and just going back a little bit because we were talking about the different styles between Michael and Corey. Michael, and he's always been portrayed as not necessarily finding joy in his killings, but finding them like fascinating.
Yeah.
And like curious by them.
It's always up to interpretation because he doesn't talk.
And yeah, but Corey seemed really like exuberated and excited after killing
emotional.
People.
All of his kills were emotional attachments, targets.
Targeted people.
Myers' evil was never targeting people. I mean, which they even go back in kills and say it was not about you, Lori. It was just because you were in this path.
Well, and even...
Which is why we thought they understood Myers.
Yes, even with Allison when they were talking to her in the hospital in Kills... Lori was like, no, Michael didn't go to find my grandmother. It was his doctor that brought him to Lori.
And that reminds me of another point. They go back and forth, at least now that Ends is out. What they never decide. They could never figure out what they wanted to do with Myers. Was he pure evil? Was he supernatural? Was he a man? Because at the end, Lori's like, you're just a man in a mask. But for the last two movies, he transcends. He kills a whole mob. He gets shot 1 billion times. He dies to some bloodletting.
Well, and also she stabs him like straight through the heart, and then he just like, wah!
Yeah, like so he bled out. Like, I'm sorry guys, at this point, him bleeding out is not enough for me. It's not enough for me.
Also, that whole sequence was a disappointment because they're like, oh, we have not built up to this at all. During this film, all of a sudden the main protagonist...
because the character that we're following, Corey, is dead.
Yeah, all of a sudden the main protagonist, we had them for this entire film, we're going to murder. And, well, actually, no, not even murder. Technically, he stabs himself in the throat, and then Michael comes and finishes the job there. He's like, you're no longer my buddy anymore.
Right. Which, again, Batman, we totally brushed over the whole Batman-Robin thing. Like, Myers having a teammate, and he allows it. Like, he has to. Like,
Yeah, he's like going along. That's the only other time you see Michael kill, other than when like the police officer next to the sewer. He kills that one woman in the doctor's house, stabs her into the wall.
what makes Michael care about Corey? He has to care to keep him alive because he's never cared about anybody, obviously.
Yeah, no matter what. Even if they were kind to him, even if they
Right.
treated him well, he didn't care. He murdered them.
He just kills people.
Don't be in his path or he'll murder you. He'll track you down to the ends of the earth and finish murdering you.
Even if Corey's infected with his evil, I don't care. We've never... He is the Shape. He doesn't need a Robin. He never has wanted one. He doesn't care. It's not... He has no attachments. He kills his own sister.
Well, and then the whole comparison between this movie and Christine.
Well, there's Christine, and then, of course, the font is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch font.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, was when they would try to go away from Michael Myers altogether back in the 80s. And people hated that. You know, a lot of people said that when they saw that font in the theater, they were like, uh-oh. They don't even know why they were saying uh-oh, but they're like, uh-oh, using Halloween 3 font, huh? Are we in for a very different movie? We were in for a very different movie. And like I said, it could have been a really cool idea some other time.
Not this time.
Not this movie. Not this.
Especially if you were planning on killing off Michael, then it would be a great spin-off for something else.
Like...
Yeah.
You could have, like, so many fans, all the fans were like, you could have called the show with Corey, just call it Haddonfield. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Lots of disappointments.
Yeah, like I said, I think that the reason
then
this one hurts is just because the first two
were amazing.
Were so much fun and so awesome. The best sequels we've got in the franchise.
Yeah.
Up there next to Halloween 2, probably, 1981. You know, and...
Well, and then the ending, too, was weird. They're like, let's tie him to the top of the car, and then we'll, like, get the whole town to come down to this auto yard, and we'll ground him up. I'm like, I call it the mass text scene.
Yeah, you got to imply that somebody like sent out like, "Hey, everybody, we're grinding up Michael Myers, so you can come see and set your trauma to rest or something." I don't know, but
yes, grinding a body tends, to solve all your trauma.
And again, that's that piece of music called The Procession. Awesome. It kind of gave me chills, even though I was flabbergasted by the film. It still kind of gives me chills. It's Laurie's closure. It's supposed to be Laurie's closure. The last 20 minutes of the film is the snippets of what we wanted.
Yeah. Well, and even then, we were, right as we finished the movie, Cedric said that the final, shots were kind of brilliant.
Oh,
and it took me a second to realize why, and he, sort of explained it. It's, in the end of the 1978 Halloween, they, go through, pictures of the house, and he's breathing. But in this one, they did it, and there's pictures of the house and there's silence.
Mm-hmm.
And
to symbolize the boogeyman is dead.
Yeah. And so it's
beautiful
symbolism.
Literally
love
the last 20 minutes of this film is what the whole movie should have been. And for some reason they were just fascinated with this Corey guy. And again, Rohan Campbell, the actor, again, superb job, sir. Good acting. You did good.
Yeah, we're not blaming you at all.
No, I don't blame the actors. You got to go to the source material, and that's writers. That's David Gordon Green, the director.
Well, and when you get the chance to be in such a big film, that's really cool.
Yeah, you want to be in a Halloween movie.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to be in a Halloween movie?
Jamie Lee's going to be in it. You want to act across Jamie Lee. I mean, I get it,
It's a cool opportunity. Too bad it was in this film.
Yeah. I don't know. It sucks, guys. This movie, sucks because it hurts. It's just disappointing. Like I said, there's good things in it. There's good things you can find in every movie. But
like we said, they made a movie.
they made a movie. This one just hurt a lot. I mean, it did.
It gives you like a bitter taste in your mouth that makes you're like disappointed. It's the only word I can really describe it as. I remember
didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, I remember sitting down and watching this movie for the first time with you, and I could tell that it wasn't going to be amazing. First off, because you didn't make me go see it in theaters. We saw it streaming. I saw it streaming for the first time. He saw it in theaters for the first time.
I saw it once in theaters. I was excited and hopeful that I'd go see this movie as many times as I saw 2018 and Kills. I went and saw those movies over and over again in the theaters. And I should have taken it as a sign when he didn't make me go see the movie in theaters, and it was not going to be what we expected. And literally, I think my words at the end of that movie was like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, we watched it with some friends. They were like, what was that? And that's when it was confirmed to me, because I was still kind of in denial at that point of what that movie was. I was confused because, like I said, there are some things I do really like about it, like the music and the look of Myers. I mean, there's things that it still feels like it is a part of the trilogy because of it's made by the people. So it still feels, again, cinematography, lighting, the way that they just made this movie, it does feel like the other two. But, I mean, I don't know. Like we've been saying, I think the best, there's not even
words to describe
it. Disappointing is probably the best we've got right now, but it is what it is. They made the movie. Hopefully, I think for me, another reason is because I was like, oh, this could be a really good trilogy, like sequels that I actually look forward to watching, because like I love all the other sequels. I mean, and I still, in my heart, will still love this movie only because it's got Michael Myers in it and it's a Halloween movie. I can't bring myself to just hate it because I just love Halloween.
It's not going to be one that we just turn on for fun to watch. It's going to be one that's watched maybe once a year when we're doing the marathon.
Because I really just wanted it to be a good trilogy. I wanted it to be, all three films be strong in movies I go to. And be like, I'm going to watch 78, and then it makes me want to watch 2018, and that makes me want to watch Kills, and now I'm like, I don't really
want to
watch ends. Like, I get, it's like, and that sucks because I want to watch the final part, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's why, and, like I said, I don't want to, not that anyone's ever going to see this from the movie, maybe, but, I think it was a well-made movie. It was awesome. It was cool that you guys made it, and it was well-made. It was Laurie Strode's last hurrah. But I don't know. I wanted more for the character, especially of Laurie Strode, because Michael's going to come back. We all know Myers is going to come back. They don't ever let him die. He makes too much money. So they're already trying to do a TV show. I don't know what that's going to be. Hopefully it'll be cool.
Well, and even if this trilogy ends it, like the Halloween movies have so many different storylines already in its franchise, it wouldn't be hard for someone to just do another spin-off being like, we're ignoring these previous movies.
Or they go back to Thorn trilogy because there was a cliffhanger at Curse of Michael Myers. There was. Yeah. They could do that. I've heard people talk about that. I mean, it's hard in a franchise because, again, you want 13 films in, you want to do something a little different. But I think we wanted a conclusion that was different and kind of more badass for Laurie Strode because, we love Laurie Strode. That's, it's not just Myers, it's also Laurie that we love too. So,
absolutely.
And especially when you get Jamie Lee coming back, you don't know how many more opportunities you're going to have with her. So I think there's a lot of reasons why this movie was disappointing, I guess we'll go into ratings. There's not much else to say. I think it'll just go around in circles. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to give it and I'll be a little generous, I think. I'll be 2 out of 5 tombstones.
Way too generous.
I'm going to give it a 2.
probably rate it about what I did for Rob Zombie. So it's going to be a 0.5 out of 5 for me. Because I don't think it's almost as bad as Rob Zombie's second film.
Yeah, and
And
it's intense when she might prefer the first Rob Zombie film over Ends.
yeah, I've said that a couple times. I might prefer the first Rob Zombie movie over Ends, and I dislike both of them.
The Rob Zombie films.
Yeah, both of the Rob Zombie Halloween films I dislike. But Michael was Michael.
I mean, he still looked great.
Even though he was more aggressive, I believe I said in that review that he was kind of like a Jason Michael.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's very similar to my feelings about Rob Zombie's films. I have to give it like a 0.5 out of 5.
Well, there you have it, folks. We have finished reviewing the Halloween franchise. Stay tuned. We're gonna probably do some follow-up videos to the Halloween franchise. I love them so much. We'll wrap it up here soon, but I want to do like rankings, tier lists, just some fun things. Rankings of the masks, tier lists of the movies, kind of like ranking them. I know we reviewed them, but we'll rank them, and then try and do some live streams or some video game stuff here soon. I'd like to try and do that soon. Keep your eyes out for board game reviews, more stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay creepy, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.